I know a lot of teams try and stay away from that and stay towards the more kind of tried and tested, like your Ascents, etc., where there isn't that much momentum. But hey, listen, that's what you find out in the end.
Yeah, too true, too true. Haven is in a very good spot in terms of the meta right now, I would say. So nice that we get a look at it here on current patch. This is the live client, of course, as well. So for the players, you have to think about the utility cost for each individual agent. But we're not too far off having a mirror matchup. The only difference right now is looking to be between the flashes. It's Spy on the Breach, some comfort, and Jade the Yoru.
I think as well, like the Breach also provides just a little bit more oppressiveness in the utility in terms of getting that stun out. You know, you can challenge a lobby a little bit harder. But as for what we get on the other side, you know, that double duelist, a little bit more rotation, quicker rotations. So just to let you know, it is alternate attacks on the attack and RAFHA are on the defense. So just to correct the mistake of the overlay.
Yeah, that is important to note. Of course, it's something that we spoke about a little bit in the build-up in terms of how that changes things. We've got Prey in the side as well, and when I was going through the team lineups, I didn't initially see his name there. It was a later addition, but someone who was part of the alternate attacks team, which qualified through the quarterfinals of the first phase of Project Blender, so they will be in phase 2 regardless of what happens here. And yeah, made the semi-finals, eventually went out against Maus, but did some decent damage. It was a signing from Ryzen, but a fairly new face, I think, even in the German scene, by my count, for what alternate attacks want to try and achieve. But yeah, just the one difference in terms of comp, it's the Breach and the Yoru. Interesting point to note, of course, is that Jade was a Breach player before, so just a natural progression, I suppose.
Maybe just the way the meta's running. I mean, like, it's funny that Unfair's in here. He's been a bit of a content creator the past wee while as well, finding success in that front. I mean, had success all the way back in last season's off-season as well, if you remember that one.
He's got 60k on Twitch, so that's pretty much the majority of the DAC viewership, if not all of it. Jokes aside, yeah, he was part of that Unicorns of Love roster as well with Steve, or the stream team. Yeah. It's Prey to open things up on the attack side for aTTaX, though. Quite fitting. Jade to start. Spy is felled in backside C. Still plenty where that came from. Player numbers on RAFHA. But they go one at a time. And alternate aTTaX have made a pretty incisive first move here, Cairo.
Yeah, it's been pretty damning for the first count. Alternate aTTaX get things started off perfectly.
Very clean. I'm happy with what we've seen so far. And it's very direct from the double duelist to kick things off. You can see RAFHA tried to hold on to the space, but nothing going.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see exactly how this develops. The double duelist a little more aggressive, and we've seen that pace come out already from the attack. And it seems like there is going to be a pack towards the C side, and only a turret there to identify if players get towards the C long, and already destroyed. It's pulled the rotation as well.
Yeah, naturally it will, because the turret is like the straw holding up the rest of this defense. A bit of a gamble towards the right-hand side instead, but alternate aTTaX into post quite comfortably. No second layer, no flank coming in. All hands on deck, 4 players on the site.
Marshall from Electric already finding value. We know exactly what he can do when he gets himself in towards form, but already alternate aTTaX, upgraded weaponry, have batted away any sort of attempt from RAFHA. So it looks to be a similar round to the last, a confident one, and it looks as if Serial happy to just die to the spike.
Yeah, 2 players were tagged by the Marshal, but now out of dodge, and Serial playing the percentage game here, not giving anything away. Smart enough from him. And one of those players with VCT experience alongside Alexic, of course, each of them coming in and out of the setups of Na'Vi and Liquid respectively. When Alexic joined the league, Serial had left, dropped after Masters Toronto. But always a great performer in those online events. And with how flexible he is, the roles just not quite meshing. It's that classic cautionary tale of the mid-season move. Be very interested to see what life looks like for him after Liquid, especially heading into 2026.
Yeah.
Killed my bot.
Well, the alarm bot gone from B. And quick pop in towards the site. And players forced back, but holding on towards backside, they are successful. Alternate attacks, Glossy, being able to trade all the way down to 3 versus 3, and a gap towards the C site as well.
Another post plant in this position for an alternate attacks. Open plant at that, and Jade gets away with the pick onto Alexic. That's given them numbers. And you've still got Shazay in Garage as well. I was wondering what alternate attacks were going to leave behind.
KJ with the perfect timing will find Spy. So Serial makes his attempt now in a 1 versus 3. One player low, that being Jade, unfair somewhat, but the big point here is that all 3 players are in different positions and time is waning away. A bonus round to be converted by alternate attacks, which will be most important if they want to keep this attack side strong. And only 1 rifle kept for RAFHA into the next round.
Yeah, you're seeing the cohesion from alternate attacks to kick off this map. A shared bootcamp facility, of course, which very often you'll see them playing from. So, I mean, the players should be more than familiar with each other from both the Rubies and Challengers roster. Nice little bit of mid-rounding through B there to end up with the post plant and this constant layering of the attack with a player left behind. It's Shazay on that time. It is causing a lot of issues for RAFHA right now that they just can't contain.
Stunheld. Looking to approach Grass as the defense, but the attack of alternate attacks already looking to prey on the sole A player. And that was Serial, the only rifle in play.
Paranoia catches him, blinded, but players in support arriving for RAFHA. The smoke drops to cut off the middle of the site. From short, he will continue to apply his trade, and Serial gets one before dropping. But alternate attacks have a response. Back to an even standing. It's a 3-on-3, and the spike just not yet committed. Jada forced into the open by the Nano Swarm as it opens up. That's the numbers now in their favor. And from that position, alternate attacks will not let go. 3 for Jade. And Yukina left with little to do in this position now.
Yeah, that's the thing you've got to consider, is this was always going to be a challenge, right? Even though you have that rifle in play, alternate attacks needed to be careful. They didn't give too much away to it. And well, all players picked up in the end. These ultimate orbs starting to find place and value, and ultimates online.
Caught between 2 minds there, perhaps, Jada, on whether she wanted to join the flood with the rest of her team as the Paranoia came in to support. And just, yeah, the staggered trade on the Breach player there, Spy, made things a difficulty for them. 4 on the bounce for alternate attacks. Huge confidence builder. You were speaking about momentum at the start of this game, Cairo. We have an early timeout to try and inhibit that just a little bit.
Yeah, the RAFHA players trying to call something in here and think about what's going wrong, because at this moment in time it feels like everything is going wrong for RAFHA. And that's the point that we have to move on to, right? Is that this defense need to put a stop to what alternate attacks want to do, because this is a best of 1, and if you let this roll all the way to double digits, it's not as if you have another map to reset into.
Yeah, I was saying in the pre-show how the attack can be difficult when things aren't going well. I think perhaps when we're talking team building, that's more of an issue towards the top level. But yeah, especially in a game like this, when you're playing a mix together for the first time, having those set protocols, especially on a map as fundamentally challenging as Haven, with calling the rotations, whether you're supporting the backside flood, stuff like that is really an issue. Especially against alternate attacks that do have that history as a group and are heading C, but cut off before they get that first opportunity.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be heading C much longer, especially with 4 bodies seen. But Serial moving up A. Is he going to give away the game here? Certainly not. Already gets rid of the spike carrier, which leaves Shizeon in a 1 versus 4.
There was little left to give away, Cairo, and Shazeon's going to be greeted by Spy on the site entry as well.
Oh, there you go. Finish it out. RAFHA have the answer that they need. Spamming through the smoke is how they find that answer. And then from there, rolling on into the round win. So overall, we finally see a response from our defensive side.
Yeah, it's nicely coordinated, I suppose. A semblance of a positive start for RAFHA as they have finally broken the ice, and it's not too late in the half either to recover this one. There's still an opportunity. They could be playing for an advantage. And we are seeing an op come out for Prey. They haven't been on the board all too often. Not since the pistol, I believe. So anything to get some wind back in the sails, as the rest of alternate attacks have been doing the heavy lifting up until this point.
In this round, they're going to take it a lot slower. Not wanting to get caught off guard like they did, trying to exec in towards a stack of 4.
Yeah, and you have the ult here as well, so absolutely no reason not to go for something a little bit more tempered. Lockdown in play, but a counter Hunter's Fury to damage Serial if he opts for it.
Yeah, but the other problem is here is that RAFHA have deposited a player in deep mid, so this could be a very quick flank against the dark side, should RAFHA opt for it.
And Shazeon doesn't have any flank utility. Yeah, that's what you're just coming on to, but here is the lockdown.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity to clear out, but as we noted as well, the Neon of Electric, quick on the mark, but not quick enough, it seems, when it comes to the engagement. So onto the site, alternate attack goes, and there's not much to contest this. Obviously, the Hunter's Fury still in play for a Serial.
Yeah, and it was combined with the stun from Spy as well, so does deal damage, but it's unfair that gets the kill.
Yeah,
it's a 5v3, Cairo.
It doesn't get any easier at all for RAFHA. That's Ultimate's invested, but only one team who comes out the other end, it seems, with the value needed. RAFHA trying to save rifles into the Knicks, and I don't know if they've got the economy for it.
Doesn't look like it. The lockdown was telegraphed. I think with Serial being one of the active components of the site hold, he wasn't in a position to commit to the ultimate there until he'd moved from spot and wanted to set up the play there. It was a nice plan creation to combine it with the stun from Spy. Unfortunate not to actually bag any value per se. But alternate attacks seemingly having the safety net, being prepared for whatever was going to get thrown at them in that situation anyway. And yeah, the counter ult from Unfair was great, leaving us in a bit of an awkward position now if you are the defenders, having just won a round and immediately being handed another loss.
I mean, it doesn't... The thing is, though, about Haven defence, right, is it can be few and far between that you find rounds, but yeah, you need to be finding rounds and proving that you can do so at some point. And, I mean, if this economy keeps continuing to get caught out, it's going to be difficult. RAFHA, feels it? Oh, I thought they were going to go for a full flank there, but it's not the case. And instead, they look to try and support Serial on site.
Yeah, this is what RAFHA have been going for, these heavy-handed site holds. Serial peeking on the opposite side of the smoke for the site defense, but wants to stay on this aggressive line. Eventually drops back. 4 players on A for RAFHA. Attacks still scaling in, but to their own demise. Prey finds one from the backlines, essentially, with this operator guarding the base of their execution, but maybe a bit too far-fetched at this point in time.
It's even more difficult. Trying to break crossfires as well. That stun does look good, meaning just a clear electric would have somehow opened up the site. Doesn't work out that way. RAFHA respond, and it feels as if once they gamble correctly on whatever side of the map alternate attacks want to try and exec into, if they get bodies there quickly, they typically have success in combating that push.
Yeah, I mean, that is the standard Haven macro that a lot of these teams are going to be playing for, the bigger picture. It's where that Thrifty round was very nearly converted. I believe it was like round 4, one of the first ecos we actually saw them take, where you then didn't have Jada take that next step and actually trade out Spy. But if they are able to repeat some of that success, then absolutely no reason why this gap doesn't close between the teams.
Still another slow round. It seems as if this time alternate attacks looking to create a little bit of question mark space, a little bit more mid-rounding, getting the drone in, try and deposit at KG and another part of the map. Well, that's what I thought was the plan, but alternate attacks don't move into that step.
Applied plenty of early pressure though. It has forced Alexic to reposition from plat to take care of Garage. In the meantime, Serial just reconfirming the A presence. aTTaX found so much success from Garage before, it makes perfect sense why it's an area they want to try and challenge, but Yukina's already re-cleared this out, and actually RAFHA are very well set up for the B rotation, although it's just the alarm bot here.
And that's all it's going to be to stop. And there's a late luck coming through from Blossy, late into the round. That's a lovely spray transfer from Unfair, and it gets even better. It's 3 in the round. Blossy not needed, but it would have been a nice play nonetheless. I know RAFHA try and get back in towards this B site, but it does not work out. Electric Operator totally not even needed. And Jade swings round to find the last. So 6 for alternate attacks on the attack.
Yeah. And it is an alternate approach that they take to the round. Another default, but this time starting in Garage. Unfair does brilliantly well with the transfer. Something else to mention about the latest patch is, of course, the rifle changes and the protected bullets at the start of the spray. So yeah, it definitely does favor players who want to hold down Mouse 1. I know, because I've seen an improvement in my ranked performances, but despite what they'll tell you about it, you know, you're a noob. You need to tap. Doesn't matter, mate. Talk to the scorecard. Unfair is doing his thing.
Yeah, I mean, now the defense have 4 big, well, I say 4 big retake ultimates, probably 3 big retake ultimates and an Omen ult. We'll see how that works out in the end. Need to be careful here on the C site, as Jada maybe getting a lot of information, but still trying to stick around on C.
Yeah, C, so much more difficult to anchor if you're RAFHA, and also for that reason, alternate attacks take the space and should either look to get proactive into Garage and Link, and that's exactly what we're going to get.
Now Garage looks to be crunched out of the window. Jade aware. It's a big brawl through, but it's going to end up in the defense's favour. That lockdown not going to pop, and now we're going to see an Omen ultimate towards C long, but it's a bit too much in the open, and Blossy denied the opportunity to flank, so now she needs to do it all by herself. TP needs to deny the spray, but can't do it. Picks the wrong target, and alternate attacks allow the round to go to RAFHA.
Allowed on a pure technicality, as Blossy is so close to pulling off the 1 versus 3. It's the right call from the attack here. I was just setting it up that there are 2 ways that you play that with the amount of ults that RAFHA have. Either you go completely passive and post-plant from long, or you do what they did there, which is ultimately the correct decision, and you fight forwards to interrupt things. Spy does brilliantly well, though, and now commands a more proactive set piece to kick things off, with Alexic forefronting it down C long, enabling a much quicker rotation to A to support the Killjoy.
Well, the defense may have won that last round. They're able to purchase up into this next one, but there's a big swing round in the economy state. Spy denies the garage space, and the players keep slow rolling in. This seems to be the case. A little bit of something working their way. Spike down on the ground, but RAFHA, one player to the good.
Yeah, huge double from Yukina, and now RAFHA have more ultimates to come back into this retake. The Rolling Thunder for Spy is probably the big one.
Yeah, but Prey in the corner and looking for a miracle, but maybe just giving himself up a bit too easy. Doesn't get caught by the Rolling Thunder. The overdrive trying to work out, but that is brilliant delay to come through. In fact, even going to try and use the overdrive himself. A 2 versus 1 in which Spy needs to try and make work. And in fact, it's going to be an ace for Prey if they can get it, but they can. Up to Blossy, and she won't make the same mistake she did last time. Converts an advantage for alternate attacks.
Yeah, but they were hanging on into the dregs of the round there. 7 now on the half. I have to say, the counter utility was fantastic. As soon as Shazeon drops in middle, it means that this A-hold had to work because you'd lost all additional pressure. It was the paranoia and the relay bolt from Prey then on top, which was huge to just inhibit the retake attempt. And again, alternate attacks putting themselves on the front foot, even when RAFHA have ultimates, Cairo. They've just not got anywhere near as much value from them.
Who's next?
Yeah, in the corner, in the pocket, RAFHA have deposited Electric, and on top of that, Jade looking to clear out towards backside. The Hunter's Fury ripping through the bodies, and Serial aware of where Jade was. So that's a rifle picked up. Shazeon being able to identify the threat in mid. Well, that spike going down.
Oh, Spy lands the shot though. That's the back line, now weak, and aTTaX have a reaction to make. Looks like they still want to play from the site. The paranoia's hit Blossy on default.
Great. Knows that the players are out of CT. Hit by the stun. Blossy gets a double, and now leaves Jada in a 1 versus 2. 20 points of health and a rifle in hand, but the big point here is, oh, they were on this in the smoke. Unfortunately identified through the drone. Blossy finishes out. Alternate attacks up to 8.
Yeah, 3 back-to-back. Brilliant rounds from Blossy. Such an experienced IGL and role model within the Game Changers scene. And I have to say, just the impact here comes straight through the rifle. We know she has the ability to frag out. And RAFHA are on the receiving end.
I mean, that's the big thing about Blossy, is the fact that, I mean, she's done it all. Player, IGL, leader, I mean, content creator, caster, analyst. Is there anything she's not
Xabi
done yet?
Alonso, right? Like
Mate, literally.
the beautiful game, lived it, loved it. Like,
oh, and Jade gets the next round started off right. Getting on towards Jada. Unfortunately, the next dip in is one which you shouldn't advise.
yeah, the re-peek on the same angle sets up Alexic for a slightly more favourable fight. He's been pretty quiet so far for a player of his character, so if you're RAFHA inclined, you'll be hoping that he can heat up into the second half, but it's those 2 former VCT players on the A site to hold it down. The first has fallen. It's all Electric now.
Well, sometimes VCT experience does not mean results, as seen right now by alternate attacks and their mix, as they look to hit 9-3, an advantage which seems or could be insurmountable as the players try to get out towards the site. It is going to be 9-3, almost confirmed with a 3-player advantage.
Yeah, this has been a damning first half, and the difference between alternate attacks and FMCL in the previous is that they're going to get up to 9 now and have that much more authoritative scoreline. You know the old saying, Cairo, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work, and not to say that this RAFHA side will have been putting in the hard graft with their lineup, but this more familiar look from alternate attacks is is doing really well right now. I just realized Yukina has saved on the last round of the half.
KD player.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about that one. Game's gone.
Game's gone. Yeah,
Game's
listen.
gone.
Sometimes, you know, sometimes you gotta keep those stats for VLR. You know, people apparently Mini giving the game away that he uses VLR for his scouting.
Yeah, I mean VLR had Morphe listed as a player in the the last game, so you know I'm not reading that. I'm taking it with a pinch of salt. Sure, you can keep your stat sheets, but where are our rankings, guys? Where are our rankings? Don't get me on the VLR tangent, man. We will be here all night. Alternate attacks have things to do though. Onto the defense, trying to make it happen. Pistol down mid, into grass. Prey in the courtyard.
Oh, not cleared.
The deep clear, they're going to expect this. Surely Spy caught hands in pockets.
What?
Prey peeking back out. That's 3 headshots immediately. And alternate attacks are well on their way. Yukina with it all to do. Low HP, but she ain't saving this time. There's nothing saving you from Prey.
Aye, that fair enough. When they got in towards that pocket and I saw that recon dart go into garage, I knew it was done. I knew Prey had the opportunity, and well, they capitalised to the max. Aye, fair play. Alternate attacks. They had to get through the pistol round. I think that was the most important part towards starting this half. That if they let it go to 9-5, there was always a chance RAFHA could come back into this. Double digits found, anti-eco coming into the next. What does RAFHA have for us to show us some sort of resistance?
It's got to start here. You're going to run out of opportunities before the lower bracket match awaits RAFHA. Haven making a lot of sense here for alternate attacks so far in terms of what we've seen. It is the most played map from the last stage of DAC that we had with their challengers roster. And while it wasn't shown all too much by the girls in EEQ, this is looking pretty straightforward. Vandal dropped by Prey in the window, so bit of a gap in the setup here potentially.
Bossy.
But just nothing made of it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Bossy was going to take her time in, but instead we're on for an ace. The Killjoy, which arguably you wouldn't want because they're going to be building up towards that ultimate fairly quickly, already halfway there, just from the kills in this round alone.
Yeah, still 5 more ult points though, actually, Cairo.
Oh.
Further away than close enough. With the
Oh
changes we've seen to the lockdown, it's a hefty toll that you've got to pay for those ult points.
Mate, see, these past couple of days, I've just been head in the clouds, like thinking I'm like in last year's off-season, like, oh, my general knowledge has been terrible.
Yeah, dude. Hey, look, I got a pub quiz later. We'll get you locked in on that Valorant pub quiz. We'll get you up to speed. It's fine. It's not 45 seconds anymore. It's 60 seconds. Signature util, all of this and that. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
I forgot about all that. You know, timings are going to be way off for me.
Oh, how will he ever recover?
God help me.
The Scottish education system's failed you. You're on
Oh,
private tutoring from Hazard JC now. Yeah.
Yep. I don't think Valorant is a module that you can take in the Scottish education system. I'll be honest.
Oh well, that's clearly why it's failed then. You're not counting your utility. Your 3-2-1 peaks. Ooh, Serial gets in there early. No countdown required. Right in and amongst it in the sewers, but it's still a 4-on-4. There has been a trade.
Yeah, but this is now starting to get a little bit claustrophobic. Look at this position right now from the Killjoy.
What can Shazayon do? Well, he has the support on the front lines, but the back lines is where he's wreaking havoc. 2 picked up, but 2 isn't enough. It's on to Blossy in a clutch again.
But look at the weapon she's got in hand. It's one which can deal a lot of damage, a rifle, and there's bodies low.
Footsteps giving it all away. Blossy set up for the first. It's clean. Jada was low, but she'll take the head straight off. Not yet cleared. Blossy to take 12 for alternate attacks. Spy shut down. Nothing covert about that site execution. Snuffed out immediate. And this will be the most one-sided of the openers if it ends moments from now, as you'd perhaps expect.
It feels like we're guaranteed to get a 13-3 at least once a day. We got 2 at the start of the day yesterday, and well, 13-3, another one today would be something different. We are going to get one last attempt for a tactical timeout, has it? And for RAFHA, what can they really change?
I mean, where do you start? I think it's the fundamentals, always, with a new team. What do you begin with? Why are they called the fundamentals? Because they're at the very foundation of any roster, being able to trade off of one another. That comes from the comms as well. And maybe with the picture that we were painting on the desk, or the stat that I raised, with it being 5 players with little to no previous team experience together, you can kind of see why things are happening the way that they are, because maybe there just isn't the same amount of familiarity as the alternate attacks camp, which have been brushing shoulders for years at this point.
Now Jade brings out the operator on this defence, and the crazy thing is that if RAFHA can win this next round, there is opportunity to snowball that into greater success, considering the defence utility, or the defence economy isn't fully out of the works. Well, it doesn't seem as if it gets any easier.
Huge pick from Prey as well. It's the Killjoy, the backline dealt with, and Glossy's looking for more, but it is ill-advised. Spy has shut that one down. It's left alternate attacks scrambling towards the C side of the map, but they do have this deep A control afforded to them. Ooh, was that a shoulder spotted? Still good.
Unsure, but that's a body identified as Jade puts them in the body bag. Spike still yet to be fully committed here as the players are trying to get out of garage, but look how many are starting to close in on this. You've even got a late luck coming through from A side as well.
Yeah. It's because the Killjoy went down first. Yakina's death was very nearly the domino effect, which allowed unfair in. Instead, it's Shazam on B. Like you say, there's layers to this, and Jade is the next to go. They get no value from those rotations.
30 seconds remaining, and the Spike needs to go down somewhere. Unfortunately for RAFHA, as they are going to head towards C, Prey has picked up the operator and does have the overdrive in pocket if needed.
I'll tell you what though, both players are desperately low. You might not be able to see it, but the Killjoy's effectively 1 HP. Prey making the op work though, and that distance is just too far for Spy to realistically get the spike in. It's over. 13-3. Alternate attacks win by proxy in the end. It's Shazam on the other side of the map, grinning from ear to ear, as the German squad have done the damage, with most of those players already secured, sitting pretty in the second phase. They want to skip ahead in the queue to the third phase already, and they're well on track.
They are on track, 1 game away from getting that qualification. But at the same time, there is, I guess, an elimination match to come up next year, has it, as well?
Yeah, right. You say that alternate attacks are 1 game away from making it to the playoff stage. That's where we then open up the best of 3s and the blender draft format that we'll be talking about later on. But as you see it here, 13-3, 10 rounds of difference, Cairo. This was a RAFHA side being demolished and perhaps punished for what is such a new environment, I suppose, for all of the players with one another. Really, you felt it just in terms of how some of those rounds were looking.